Open the meeting and then close for a few moments.
Okay. This meeting is being held pursuant, in accordance with the schedule of meetings adopted at the organizational meeting held January 4th, 2023. Adequate notice of the regular meeting of the Kenilworth Board of Education has been provided to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and local source on January 12th, 2023. A copy has been filed with the Kenilworth Borough Clerk, posted in the Board office in the Kenilworth Borough Hall, Burley, and Harding Schools, as is provided by Open Public Meetings Act. I'm just going to pause a moment and allow the spectators to come into the meeting. We were just at a reception for some tenured staff members, and this will allow us just an opportunity to allow them to funnel in. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Having Roseanne, flashbacks from your days on the board?
Hawaii?
No.
Flashbacks.
I guess in the Honolulu airport it was infested with them.
We get them at school all the time.
You can't even get rid of them, right?
You have to shut the school down, you have to clean, you have to do the whole process. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Good evening. We'd like to welcome everyone. Please join us in the salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Ganello, can we please have roll call?
Yes, Biner? Here. David? Here. Drogan? Ferrara?
Here.
Haberther?
Here.
Ladati? Panici?
Here.
Tiers?
Here.
Zimmerman?
Here.
We have quorum.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ganello. We'll now have a receiving of the minutes. May I please have a motion to accept the minutes from May 8th, 2023?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Haberther, seconded by Mrs. Tiers. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion's carry. Mr. Ganello, do we have any public correspondence this
We
evening?
have, yes, we have two items. We have a letter from New Jersey School Boards Association President Irene LaFerrare to the board presidents and the school business administrators regarding the New Jersey School Boards Association memberships and dues increase. We have a thank you note from Kelly Stark to the Board of Education regarding the Educator and Professionals of the Year ceremony. We have a letter from Mr. Ganella to Governor Murphy regarding a request for the New Jersey State Legislature to pass a bill which would permit the holder of a Type S school bus certificate to operate a Type S school bus to transport students to and from school without obtaining a commercial driver's license. That concludes public correspondence for the month.
Thank you, Mr. Ganella. May I please have a motion to accept the monthly correspondence?
So move.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Haberther, seconded by Mr. Biner. All those in favor of accepting the monthly correspondence, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion's carry. Okay, we'll now have superintendent's presentations. Mr. Arlington.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. There's a lot of talent and success to acknowledge tonight, and I'm happy to start our recognition ceremony. To begin, we'll honor our retirees and this year's Burley Hall of Fame recipient. We'll start with Mr. Luciani. Mr. Luciani is our first honoree and has served the Kenilworth schools for the past 21 years. Beginning as assistant principal of Burley for 7 years, Mr. Luciani transitioned to middle high school principal in 2009, a post he held for the next 8 years. In 2017, Brian took on a new director of academics position and served as acting superintendent when called upon. Before Kenilworth, Mr. Luciani began his career as a social studies teacher in Irvington. After 11 years, he transitioned to New Providence High School, again teaching history. Throughout his career, Brian impacted students outside of the classroom through the position of coach. Coaching, I think I got some of them, Brian, but maybe not all of them, girls cross country, varsity softball, and football. However, As a coach, Brian will be remembered, I think, as the long-time David Burley head coach for wrestling, where he garnered many accomplishments, including Star Ledger's Union County Coach of the Year in 2000, as well as having received the honors of Union County Coach of the Year and District 10 Coach of the Year. Brian has seen many changes both inside Kenilworth and across the educational landscape. Personally, I've known Brian to face those changes with a positive attitude and a sense of responsibility. On behalf of the school community, Brian, I'm pleased to present you with these tokens of appreciation and wish you all the best.
That literally was my entire speech, so Mr. Arlington, great job on covering all the highlights. I want to personally thank the Board of Education. Many of you have been here, or a few of you have been here when I was first hired. I think the first year the school reopened, and being able to coach football and wrestling was a great opportunity. And then a few years down the road, when we went from a dean of students with about 50 kids per class, as we started to grow, we finally needed an assistant principal, and I was second in line for that. So I'm very appreciative that I finally got that call back many, many years ago. It's been a pleasure and an honor to serve the family, the students, and the faculty and staff at David Burley, and then moving up to the board office. I've learned a lot, greatly appreciative of the academic team that we have now in place, which are doing a great job. Congratulations on the second question. And to all of you, I wish you continued success in all of your endeavors. Thank you very much.
Mr. Grinnell will speak next about Mrs. Rinaldi. Yes, please.
Good evening, everyone. I have the honor of paying tribute to an exceptional individual who has dedicated 12 years of her life to serving our school district with the utmost excellence. This extraordinary person is none other than Roseanne Rinaldi, our accounts payable purchasing secretary who retired earlier this school year. For over a decade, she demonstrated an unwavering commitment to her role, ensuring the smooth functioning of our financial operations. Her meticulous attention to detail and thoroughness in managing accounts payable have been unparalleled, making her an invaluable asset to our district. But Roseanne's contributions extend far beyond her technical expertise. She has been a pillar of support and a trusted colleague to many in the district. Her willingness to go the extra mile, offering guidance and assistance, has made her an invaluable resource and inspiration for all who have had the pleasure of working alongside her. Throughout her tenure, Roseanne's professionalism and integrity have shown. She has been steadfast guardian of the ethical practices, ensuring compliance with fiscal regulations and maintaining the highest standard of accountability. Her dedication to fiscal integrity has not only earned her the respect of her peers, but has also played a crucial role in upholding the reputation of our school district. Her work has always passed muster with our annual audits as well as New Jersey CUSAC. To put that in perspective, she processed over 25,000 purchase orders, $300 million worth of items, and there was not one audit exception. Yes. As we bid farewell to Roseanne, it is essential to acknowledge the indelible impact she has left on our district. Her dedication, expertise, commitment have played an instrumental role in our success. To Roseanne, we express our heartfelt gratitude for 12 years of exceptional service. We celebrate your achievements and the countless lives you have touched throughout your remarkable work. As you embark on this new chapter in your life, we wish you a retirement filled with joy, fulfillment, and the realization of your dreams. Let us all applaud Roseanne Rinaldi, a true embodiment of excellence and dedication. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I have the pleasure to introduce and commend Mr. Manny Anteo. Mr. Anteo has served David Brearley Middle High School for 21 years as our business teacher. In addition to his time in Kenilworth, he taught in Rahway for 3 years and Roselle Park for 3 years, giving him a total of 27 years serving the interests of young people and preparing them for life after high school, equipped with 21st century life skills. During his career, he has had countless students head off from Brearley to become business majors. Others have started their own companies, and all of them have been made more financially literate citizens, equipped to handle a world of credit cards, loans, mortgages, etc. He has taught intro to business and accounting too, entrepreneurship and keyboarding, personal finance, and everything in between. Mr. Anteo is known for his dedication to his job. He's never absent, he's always on time, and he's one of the last people to leave the building each night. Throughout his career, he prided himself on bringing industry experts to the students through guest speakers, field trips, and most recently, Zoom guest speakers, to share their real-world knowledge with our students. Personally, I particularly enjoyed and appreciated Mr. Anteo inviting me in to see the owner of Chat and Griddle recently, a local business of Kenilworth, and an employer of several of our students. And that individual spoke about the hurdles he overcame running a restaurant through the pandemic, which was very interesting. Additionally, Ms. Witchell and I appreciated Mr. Anteo's recent invitation to us to participate as guest sharks in his Shark Tank simulation, where he had his students brainstorm new products to pitch to us. Mr. Anteo has dedicated his life to young people. He has dedicated his life to serving David Brearley, and for that we thank him. We wish him well in retirement. Congratulations, Mr. Manny Anteo.
Don't worry, they'll make them all get up for photos. You'll get the good ones.
It's been an honor to be here. It's been an honor to be a teacher at Brearley. My main desire is that hopefully I've touched enough students that they've taken something away that has improved their life. And that's my main wish. It's bittersweet that I'm leaving. I wish I could stay longer, but you know, time is ticking, so I need to move on. I have no idea what I'm gonna do next year. I have absolutely nothing. I don't fish, I don't golf, I don't own a boat, so I'm kind of stuck. Probably do some reading. But I want to thank everybody. It's a great place to work, and the people are nice. It's like your family, really. That's the way to describe it. When you work at Brearley, you're working with family, and you can't beat that. Thank you all.
I'd like to congratulate Terry Seuss. Terry has served the children of Kenilworth for 22 years. Throughout her time in Kenilworth, Terry has demonstrated ongoing flexibility, caring, and support for all students. She's also advocated for her colleagues while helping the building with a myriad of responsibilities and tasks throughout her time. We thank and congratulate Terry on her dedication and support of all students, her years of service, and we wish her the very best in retirement. We know how much she's been looking forward to dedicating more of her time to her family. So enjoy, Terry, and thank you so much for all that you've done.
Before we move on, it might be nice to have all the retirees get in a picture together.
Yes.
Feel free.
Stand wherever you need to. Just go for it. Everybody hold it a sec, you got a few family photos coming in. Don't move, not yet.
Yeah,
All right, look over here. Big smiles. To the right. Look to the right. Well, one more. Thank you. Good job.
All right.
It's not freezing.
After a few years of hiatus due to COVID and other circumstances, I'm pleased to share that tonight we'll continue the tradition of inducting a new member into Burley's Hall of Fame. The criteria include the nominee be a David Burley graduate or a Kenilworth resident who graduated from another Union County Regional High School District 1 school between 94 and 97 while Burley was closed. The nominee also has to have distinguished themselves in their chosen field, such as education, and also must have distinguished themselves in community and/or humanitarian activities. Mr. Davies will say more about tonight's inductee, Mrs. Grimaldi, but first I'd like to thank Jeremy for his leadership of the committee and its members, including Vice President David, for their work in ensuring this tradition continues. At this time, Mr. Davies will share more about this year's inductee.
Thank you, Mr. Arlington. David Brearley Middle High School is honored to present Ms. Candace Grimaldi as the 2023 inductee into the David Brearley Hall of Fame. As Mr. Arlington mentioned, the Hall of Fame was created to recognize the significant contributions to the Kenilworth community and the larger community of David Brearley graduates, for their commitment to improving the lives of others and for their continued efforts to make David Brearley proud. Ms. Grimaldi is not only a native of Kenilworth, she still lives here, and she worked here for over 40 years, giving of herself to the youth of this town. Ms. Grimaldi started her career in 1975 at Harding Elementary School before transferring to Brearley and then retired from Brearley in 2020. While at David Brearley Middle High School, she won the distinction of David Brearley Teacher of the Year twice, once in 2001 and again in 2017. She earned the Team Member of New Jersey Governor's Grant in 1990 for $50,000, working on a grant of integrating math and science curricula. At both Harding and Brearley, Ms. Grimaldi spearheaded the district's Family Connection program with the Family Science program and the Family Tools and Technology program, which brought together students, families, teachers, and administrators around topics of science and technology in afternoons and evenings. She was, at various points in her career, a yearbook advisor, the publicity coordinator, and the STAY program facilitator. Between the years of 2005 and 2017, Ms. Grimaldi was the recipient of a PTO grant every single year due to her diligence to submit grant applications to improve the experience of her students. On a personal level, Ms. Grimaldi was known for her energy and her humor, and she still has those in retirement. A former student of hers describes Ms. Grimaldi as that teacher who always told you not necessarily what you wanted to hear, but what you needed to hear. She is honest, but kind. She's described with phrases such as a true treasure. And the mention of her name brings smiles to everyone and anyone graced with knowing Candace. Her former colleagues described Candace as the mom of the science department. She always took care of us. And it is notable when a graduate of our school goes off into the world to give back to that world. Ms. Grimaldi is the paragon of generosity of spirit. Between her first day in 1975 to her retirement in 2020, she gave and still gives and gives of herself. She is the definition of selfless. The plaque that will forever hang in the hallway of David Brearley reads, "The David Brearley Hall of Fame honors Candace Grimaldi for her for her service and dedication to the students of David Brearley and to the Kenilworth community at large. Candace is the consummate educator, intelligent, caring, compassionate, and a lifelong learner. She is a Brearley Bear for life." Congratulations, Ms. Candace Grimaldi, for being inducted into the 2023 David Brearley Hall of Fame. We look forward to recognizing Ms. Grimaldi in our school with a special presentation now. Congratulations.
I just would like to say it's been an honor and a pleasure to work in the Kenilworth School District for all these years. I've worked with so many wonderful people, students that I have right now that are teachers. It's amazing. Right there is one of them. But I mean, it's the best school you can't between this and the job, it's wonderful. So 38 years went by really, really quick, but I have wonderful memories to take with me. And I thank everyone.
We're going to transition to honoring some of our students at this time. You have a report this month? Yeah. But first, we're going to start with Kaylee, who has a report to give from her perch as student representative to the board.
If any of the honorees at this time would like to leave, they can, or they can stay. You're more than welcome either way. Oh, go ahead, Kate.
It's your chance to escape
Yeah,
for dinner.
if you'd like to. Yes, so no judgment. So if you want to leave before the student spotlight, you can. If not, congratulations. Thank you so much for coming. You're more than welcome to stay if you like. Congratulations. Good luck. Thank you.
Congrats.
Take care. Thank you.
Seuss was saying she thought it was going to be out there, so they definitely had leaving yet they were going.
Kaylee, just hold on one second. We'll see if the students want to come in. Do you want to bring the students in, maybe for the spotlight? Thank you. Do you want Kayla to start or wait?
Good evening, everyone. This month has been filled with a lot of activities. We had our junior-senior prom, the senior dinner, and our senior trip. All three were absolutely amazing. This week begins finals, which will go from June 15th to the 21st. And on June 16th, the middle school has a volleyball tournament, which should have a very good turnout. Upcoming is the District Art Show on June 20th. This is during and in between the ABC Awards ceremony and the Senior Awards ceremony. Last but not least, graduation will be June 22nd for middle school and June 23rd for high school. Both will begin at 7:30. Personally, I would like to thank the board for this opportunity. This experience has been a lesson in itself. I'm very excited to see the students who continue on and do this. So thank you.
On behalf of the board, Kaylee, I'd like to add you to the mix of students we're spotlighting here tonight. Your position was born out of a new state requirement that New Jersey school districts with a high school have a student representative on the board. Your willingness to apply for the role and your work with Mr. Davies to imagine what it has conceptually become, I think are hallmarks of your maturity and initiative, and we certainly appreciate it. I want everyone to know that the role includes more than simply showing up here each meeting night. Behind the scenes, I know you collect information and workshop ideas with Mr. Davies. Thank you for that. You've answered impromptu questions from the board members impressively. I could probably learn from you a bit in that regard. And as I've mentioned before, it's been great seeing your public speaking skills and confidence develop through your tenure in the role. You've done a good job of carving out the position for students who want to hold it in the coming years. Well done, and congratulations on your upcoming graduation.
Hi again. At this time, I would like to recognize Matthew Skeffington. Matthew Skeffington is being honored tonight for receiving the Unsung Hero Award. Students receive this award for modeling good citizenship, exhibiting a spirit and quiet strength that inspires others, and overcoming difficult challenges. There's no question that Matty Skeffington meets and exceeds these expectations. Maddie genuinely cares about everyone he knows and goes out of his way to make everyone around him feel comfortable and happy. Staff and students of David Brearley look forward to his bright and cheery hello in the halls or his funny jokes that he shares all the time. On top of his warm and caring personality, Maddie is extremely bright. A teacher expressed that you'd be a fool to take him on in any kind of trivia. Maddie has a bright future ahead of him, and we can't wait to see the great things he does beyond Brearley. On a personal note, Maddie, you are one of the students that is always a pleasure to see in the hallways. You're always there with a smile, a wave, a compliment, or a good, cheery conversation. So I thank you for your presence in David Brearley, and I thank you for making our school a better place. Congratulations on being the unsung hero. Sure.
Good evening again. It's with great pleasure to introduce 4 outstanding student athletes that attend our school. This time of year, it's always a little bittersweet because the sweet is that it's great to recognize some outstanding achievements by these young adults, but it's a little bitter because you know that they're seniors and they're not going to be roaming our halls next year or running around on our fields. So it kind of saddens you a little bit, but you're excited to celebrate their accomplishments and what they've been able to do here for the last 4 years. Our first scholar athletes I'm going to introduce, they were the recipients of the Kenilworth Unico Brian Piccolo Award. Our female representative was Gianna Scuderi, and our male representative was Vaughn Marenko. I believe Vaughn wants to say a few words. You too? Oh, Gianna.
Hello, my name is Vaughn Marenko, and I've been a part of David Brearley for 4 years, playing in multiple sports. And so I am forever grateful for David Brearley Athletics, as these 4 years spent a part of various teams has taught me more than I could ever ask for. I grew up playing sports for this town, and high school is just a great place to tie it all up. I will never forget the life lessons I've been taught, as they continuously help me better myself and chase the future I hope for myself. I was truly able to grow both mentally and physically with the help of my coaches and the friends I made. Going to practices after a long, difficult day and just being able to leave behind whatever was bothering me prior was a huge relief and help. And so I would like to thank my coaches, Coach Miller, Coach Phillips, Coach Pederisi, and Coach Ulasevich for giving me the opportunity to become not only a better athlete, but also a better young man. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gianna, and I'm a senior at David Brearley. Throughout the 4 years I've been involved with Brearley sports, I've been on the fall cheer team, winter cheer team, and the competition cheer team for all 4 years, and then softball, the varsity softball team for 3 years, and COVID canceled the freshman year. Throughout this period of my life, being a student athlete has taught me many things: how to balance academics and athletics, how to manage my time, and what it truly means to be part of a team. And those are just a few of the most important qualities that being a student athlete entails, which I will carry with me at Monmouth University for the next 4 years, where I'll continue my academic career. I have made so many friends and memories while involved with Brearley sports, and I would like to thank Mr. Miller and my coaches, Mrs. McGowan, Miss Burke, and Miss Efchek, for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this great family.
Well done. Our next 2 scholar athletes that I'm going to introduce are both recipients of the Union County Interscholastic Athletic Conference winners, and Madison Pierce is also our NJSIAA scholar athlete, so she got 2 prestigious awards this year for her fine performance in the classroom and also on the athletic fields. So I would like to have Madison Pierce come up and Matt Sims.
Hello, everyone. My name is Madison Pierce. I'm a senior here at David Brearley, and I've been involved in the David Brearley softball program throughout all of my years of high school. I've played on varsity 3 years due to COVID negatively affecting my freshman year. Being a student athlete has taught me a lot about balancing different aspects of my life, such as academics and athletics. I've learned how to multitask, time manage, prioritize myself and my goals, and the importance of teamwork. Being a student athlete has also kept me involved in the Brearley atmosphere and community, and with that has built up my character in such a positive manner. I would like to say a big thank you to Scott Miller for providing me with many opportunities throughout my athletic career at Brearley, and another thank you to my softball coach, Ev Check, for all that she has done for me on and off the field. I cannot wait to take my skills that I've obtained with me into the future at the University of Delaware while I'll be majoring in nursing. Thank you for this nomination.
Hello everyone, hope you're having a good evening. My name is Matt Sims, and I've been playing football and baseball here at David Brearley for the last 4 years. Being a student athlete here at David Brearley has taught me many things that doesn't just involve sports but life. Work ethic is a huge factor to being a student athlete. If you want to be the best at something, you have to put in the work every single day, whether it's either working on your craft at a sport or a final exam. Work ethic definitely relates to life, because everyone wants to be successful in life, but no one wants to put in the work to get there. Being a student athlete has taught me to put in the work to be successful in life. I would like to thank my family, supporters, and all my coaches for helping me these last 4 years. Thank you for all the lessons you have taught me, and thank you for helping me achieve my goal of playing college football at Salisbury University. Thanks, go Bears.
Now you guys go over there by the backdrop. Don't move till you get the mom seal of approval.
We can also get a picture of Katie and
Okay. So how we recommend it. Okay. Now's your
At this time, if everyone would like to stay, they can. If not, congratulations. Are they here? Okay. The Val and Sal aren't here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations. I didn't see them. I recognize the pictures. So if they come, we can stop for them. Hi, thank you, congratulations.
Our final student presentation, unfortunately, Liz and Christy weren't able to be here tonight, but we wanted to recognize our salutatorian and valedictorian, and you will see them at graduation, and they'll have some speeches there too. So just a brief moment to recognize Christy Leva. Christy has been an academic juggernaut throughout her 6 years at David Brearley. Her philosophy has been to try for something even when it seems unattainable, because you never know if you don't try. And try she has. Christy has been a member of the Scholars Academy, president of the National Honor Society, and a member of the competition cheer team, drum major for the marching band, editor-in-chief of the newspaper, co-president of Race Matters Alliance, Conversation Matters, and so much more. She's immersed herself in all things David Brearley. Christy is planning on studying medicine and biology and has recently committed to Johns Hopkins University. Congratulations to Christy Leva on attaining the status of class of 2023 salutatorian. And Liz Gonzalez, Liz's mom is here. On behalf of Liz, she'll be taking the certificates. Liz Gonzalez, similar to Christy, embraces the seemingly impossible and is able to turn it into possibilities for herself and her future. Liz is a member of the Scholars Academy as well, the National Honor Society. She's chorale manager. She's part of the school band. She's illustrator for the Bear Print, a member of the GSA Executive Board, and a member of the Brearley Theater Department, having starred in as Sebastian in last year's performance of Little Mermaid and with a lead role in Mean Girls. Liz plans to study clinical and neurological psychology at William Patterson University in New Jersey. Congratulations, Liz, on attaining the status of class of 2023 valedictorian.
Thank you, Mom.
Congratulations to all the students honored here tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing Liz, Christy, and their 8 classmates who round out this year's list of top 10 students at a luncheon I'm hosting on Wednesday for them. And of course, on behalf of the full board, we're excited to see the entire class of 2023 at graduation next Friday, June 23rd. We're going to transition to, always have these student-specific slides and then forget to show. So there's no point in doing it. Yeah. Introduction to this schedule. Mr. Davies and Ms. Witchell will present now, but first I'd like to preface with a few contextual sort of comments. A few weeks ago, several members of my team shared with members of the curriculum committee the proposed middle high school schedule for next year. The committee supported the schedule and we're eager to share it with the full board tonight. As I mentioned, I'd like to lay a few points of groundwork. First, note that the middle school operates this year under a schedule other than the drop and rotate, as you know. After running it for a year, our review of that schedule's successes and growth areas inform the schedule you'll see here tonight. Second, as the team will talk about, the iteration of the schedule they'll present reflects many hours of collaboration, including with teachers, the Teachers Association leadership, and others. I appreciate the efforts of those who continued feedback that helped drive numerous versions and drafts of the schedule. Without stealing too much thunder from the leaders who will proudly present in a moment, we should keep in mind the complicated and messy nature of change. We each come to change with our own perspectives and opinions. We each come with our backgrounds and bring to the work our full selves. Therefore, there will always be competing interests and give and takes. No schedule is perfect. No process of change, despite however many roadmaps and toolkits for change you have, makes the work any less messy. This proposed schedule foregrounds the needs of kids. It puts kids at the center. Everything else that matters has been considered but still circulates around what we think kids need. As the leaders tonight talk about those gives and takes, keep in mind something I always talk about myself with the team. That is, there is no rigid prescription for teaching and learning that, if carefully followed, automatically yields student outcomes. Yes, there are best practices we can learn from, and we should. Yes, there are other districts we can learn from, and we should. I'm a huge proponent of asking that we look outside ourselves to see ourselves better. But still, each district creates, hopefully, an academic program that best tailors needs to the children before them. New Jersey has over 600 school districts, or around 600 school districts, without one best schedule or instructional approach. We can learn from these districts too, but they are each unique. There is no one best way. However, in finding the best way for Kenilworth, again, the schedule centers the needs of kids by prioritizing ways to increase student engagement and achievement through an increase in time. You'll find that the schedule has captured 3 additional weeks of instructional time. I repeat, 3 additional weeks of instructional time as compared to this year's schedule, within the same 180-day school year. Second, to the children we serve, our most precious resource as a teaching and learning institution is time. I ask you to keep some of these ideas in mind as the team presents. Jeremy will start us off.
Hello again. Just a quick note to Ms. Gonzalez, you're welcome to stay, but you don't have to stay. Your daughter's graduating, so you might not worry about next year's schedule. Thank you so much for the time and opportunity to discuss. Ms. Witchell and I have spent some time putting together this presentation. We want to make sure that everyone feels that we've communicated effectively, and note that we'll be communicating this out to parents in the coming days as well. Not this exact presentation, but communication about our bell schedule. We, as an administrative team, have been focused, laser focused on striving for higher student achievement. That's what our students deserve. Seeing some of our seniors here tonight and thinking about our valedictorian, salutatorian, some of our scholar athletes, we want every student to achieve to their best ability. So we've been working as a team to increase student engagement in the classroom. We've been working as a team to improve teacher practice. And part of all of that is an effort to increase instructional time, so that we can focus a three-pronged approach, if you will, to targeting student achievement. So the increased instructional time, as Mr. Arlington mentioned, is that we were able to capture 3 additional weeks of instruction by altering our bell schedule, and we think that that is invaluable in terms of reaching our goal of higher student achievement. In reflecting on my 3 years here, the drop and rotate schedule, which is the name of our current schedule, has not moved the needle in any significant way with student achievement. It is a fine schedule, it works, we live it every day, but it has not moved the needle in terms of student achievement, and we would like to target that with that increased instructional time. We're looking for a bell schedule that has more consistency to it, something that fits the needs of our school, and every school, as Mr. Arlington mentioned, has its unique needs, so do we, and we believe that a more consistent bell schedule that doesn't have the drop and the rotate would be beneficial for our students and for their achievement. So this presentation outlines that, and we'll take it from here. Ms. Witchell wants to talk a little bit about the timeline that we've undertaken to get to this point.
Hi, good evening. So just to go back to 2021 is when we started looking at our schedules. Prior to me coming here, there was discussion of some schedule changes at the middle school level. So when I joined the team in July, I started looking into new middle school schedules. We came up with a sample schedule for the middle school only, presented that to our union leadership. Then in January of 2022, we presented that schedule at a faculty meeting. We surveyed the staff. We started a scheduling committee. We had modifications for a few months until the end of the school year, where we came up with this year's current middle school schedule, which occurs simultaneously as the high school's drop and rotate schedule. That was implemented in September. Then throughout this school year, we took a look, like Mr. Davies and Mr. Arlington said. It has been very successful at the middle school level. They have gained a lot of instructional time through the middle school schedule this year. So it caused us to take a look at the high school schedule as well. We took a survey of the middle school teachers and staff in November of this school year to get that positive feedback about the schedule. And then we presented a new proposed schedule to our association leaders in November of this year that would encompass a new schedule for the entirety of the school. We did some research on Union County high school schedules. We presented the schedule to our lead teachers and then the full faculty. Once again, we brought together a committee to look at various iterations of the high school schedule. The way it started in January of 2023 is very different than we ended up with, and we appreciated all of the collaboration from our staff and teachers. And then at this point, we have shared a draft with our individual teacher schedules, and today we opened up not specific student schedules, but they know what courses they're taking. Just to discuss some of the research, so looking at all of the high schools in Union County, we kind of broke them down into various categories. There are 3 high schools in Union County that have 48 minutes or more per day per class. There are 5 schools in Union County that have 47 minutes or less per day per class. So our new schedule would take us to 46 minutes a day, and we would fall into that category along with 5 other schools. There are 4 schools that have the drop and rotate, which is what we currently have. There are 2 schools with A-B block, and there are 2 schools in the other category that kind of have a combination of various schedules happening.
So this slide shows you what as I was saying, the old drop and rotate, what we're moving away from. So you can see that the school day starts with a common activity period where teachers are available. We then move to classes beginning at 8 o'clock. We have a morning drop and rotate. We have an afternoon drop and rotate. Those two rotating cycles revolve around a lunch block period. That's what the HSL1, HSL2 are, lunch 1, lunch 2, middle school, lunch 1, lunch 2. And then we end our school day for students at 2:43, and depending on your schedule, certain teachers stay until 3:08. So that is what our current drop and rotate looks like. And you can see that what I'm talking about in terms of moving away from this to get more consistency is this does have a lack of consistency just with classes dropping out on a daily basis and rotating around. Broke this up into affordances of the old drop and rotate and limitations. Caveat, any affordance or any limitation looked through a certain lens could be seen in an opposite light, right? Like some things that for one person could be an affordance could be for another person a limitation and vice versa. So we are looking at this, as Mr. Arlington said, through the lens of student achievement and making sure that we had consistency for that student achievement. So our affordances, as we've designed here, are that the old drop and rotate was nice in that we had 55-minute blocks. That is a nice chunk of time. Each class drops once every 4 days. That can be nice depending on your view. And classes meet at different times. That also can be nice depending on your view. Limitations of the drop and rotate are that classes, in my view, only meet 135 times per year, not 180. So there is that lack of consistency. There's 7,425 minutes of instruction per course per year. We worked to increase that. Then other things that are limitations are if a class is missed, there's a large gap in instruction, for example, a snow day, an assembly. If you miss your day with your students, you might have 2 days or a long weekend or something like that that then causes a lapse in instruction. There's also some havoc for stable elements of the schedule, for example, alternative programming, special needs. It's difficult to have stability where something meets every single, say, Tuesday, because Tuesdays are always different, and the rotation just causes some havoc for those kinds of things within a school. Building supervision is a struggle with the drop and rotate, just knowing who's where and when everything's rotating and dropping, and also the large block lunch is a difficulty for both for both staff and administrators in terms of supervising that block lunch and having a productive lunch period. This is the new schedule. Ms. Witchell's going to go through the nuts and bolts of the new schedule.
So on the top, you can see the high school schedule. The first 3 periods of the day lines up with the bottom portion, which is the middle school schedule. Then you can see the lunches. There's 2 lunches in yellow at the top for high school. Those are 23-minute lunches. So if you're in high school and you go to lunch period 4, then you'll go to a class for 46 minutes afterwards, or vice versa. You would have a 46-minute class and then a 23-minute lunch. And then you continue throughout your afternoon for 46-minute periods. The same thing happens at the middle school level, where you have a few more classes before that lunch period hits, and then they have that alternation between the 8th graders have lunch first, and then they go to class, and then for 7th graders, they have a class, and then they go to lunch. So it's a lot easier for consistency, especially with some of our shared staff members. They have the ability to go back and forth between high school classes and middle school classes a lot easier. Whereas right now with the drop and rotate and the middle school schedule that we currently have, you either need to be an AM high school person, PM middle school person, or vice versa. So it really puts a constriction on the schedule.
Just one other note about the new schedule. It is designed to easily embed the 6th grade into David Brearley when that time comes in 2 years. So the schedule was designed with the 6th grade coming over to Brearley and everything should work smoothly to fit in with this new schedule. Again, affordances and limitations, obviously those words, it depends on the lens through which you look. The affordances in terms of consistency in targeting student achievement is that the classes will meet 180 times per year. And we believe that that is best for our David Burley students. What that means is that we're able to provide 8,280 minutes of instruction per course per year. As Mr. Arlington said at the very beginning, that is 3 weeks of additional instruction. And I think, just anecdotally, we've already seen this year from our middle school teachers that they are pleased with that additional instructional time because they are further along in the curriculum than they were under the drop and rotate. And we're expecting that to happen as well for the high school level. Affordance, in our opinion, in terms of the supervision of the building, is that we don't have a block lunch, yet we were able to still maintain the extra help sessions that we've implemented and that have become something that our teachers and our students appreciate and utilize. And additional is that at the middle school level, the new schedule affords us to have a double period of ELA, which again targets that student achievement goal of ours through the consistency. Limitations are that, yes, this schedule is more routine. The drop and rotates maybe affordances of having not every class meet every day, and there's something nice about that break. That's no longer something. So that routine, but there are also students who thrive in routine. Different ways to look at it. Also, a limitation is our class periods are shorter. We have 46-minute class periods as opposed to the 55-minute class periods currently. While that is a shorter instructional period, that allows us to have more instruction over the course of a school year. So we're able to get 3 weeks of additional instruction by having shorter class periods, which we think is a benefit to our students. The comparison by numbers is right here for you to read. The drop and rotate has 7,425 minutes of instruction per class per year. That's compared to 8,280. That's where you get the 3 weeks of instruction. From a teacher standpoint, a teacher teaches 206 average minutes of instruction under the drop and rotate. Contractually, FYI, the contract reads that they can teach no more than 266, so the drop and rotate is within the contract, as is the new schedule at 230. There are 230 minutes of instruction per day per teacher out of the 266 contractual minutes. And then the contract states that teachers need to have 100 minutes of duty-free prep and lunch. At the drop and rotate schedule, there are 123 daily minutes of teacher duty-free prep and lunch. In the new, there are 115. So again, we are in compliance with the contract in terms of minutes. So that's just a brief comparison. Ms. Twitchell's going to talk about the students' perspective.
Students will have 368 minutes of instruction per day. Under the drop and rotate, they have 330 minutes. Their lunch this year under the drop and rotate is a 27-minute lunch and then a 28-minute opportunity period. For opportunity period, that's when they have various options around the school. They can hang out in the auditorium, they can go to the gym, they can go to their extra help sessions. Just anecdotally, Mr. Davies and I kind of went into the lunchroom to see how long it took students to get their lunch, eat their lunch, and be done with their lunch. At minimum, we would need to have an 18-minute lunch. We're not going to do that. We want to have a little bit more time than that. So students will be able to buy their lunch, eat their lunch, and hang out for a little bit sufficiently with a 23-minute lunch. We're still going to offer our extra help labs during our lunch periods. And this schedule affords students the same curricular and credit opportunities. They will still be able to take the same number of classes and earn the same number of credits.
As I mentioned earlier, certain populations struggle with the drop and rotate due to the lack of consistency. When a student needs a consistent anchor period for enrichment or extra help, when a student needs support services, maybe a counseling session that meets regularly, when a student needs to have an alternative educational placement, say with a partnership with a job, an internship, something like that, those programs and those supports are not able to be realized because the drop and rotate is constantly changing. And that makes it very difficult to have, as I said, something that happens every day at 1 o'clock. You can't have something that happens every day at 1 o'clock when every day is different and a different period is meeting. And that we saw that in a very real way with our special education population as well as our alternative education population, that we're not able to move forward with certain supports because the drop and rotate schedule eliminates that possibility. Finally, last slide, I believe, is that our next steps are to, after this conversation with the board, to communicate with families. We hope that email goes out either later this week or early next week before the school year ends. We did just communicate with parents and students their course schedules for next year, so that went out today, this afternoon, so students should be accessing their schedules for next year to see what courses they were scheduled for. That'll then be coupled with the information about this actual bell schedule. The difference that that parents really need to grapple with is that instead of an 8 o'clock start time, the school day will begin at 7:45. So there's a 15-minute difference between when you would normally possibly drop off your child if they don't walk, ride their bike, or take the bus. So that's a concern that we just need to communicate out to parents. So that'll be happening in the coming days. We'll be rolling out the new schedule in September, and then we will be surveying staff and students in the fall to assess where we are, and then move forward from there. So that is our overview of our bell schedule change. Again, thank you for the opportunity. I guess if the board has questions for us, we're happy to answer them at this time.
I just have one question. When you mentioned the extra help labs, that they would still be occurring, when will they occur? To clarify. at what point?
During students' lunch.
They would still be during lunch, so the
Yes.
students would attend the extra help lab in lieu of lunch?
In addition to lunch,
All right, so they'd have time to eat and do the extra help?
or do both at the same time.
Okay. It's gonna be in the cafeteria area or something that they'd be able to eat and get the help? or-
So we created extra help rooms in the hallway outside the cafeteria. It's the math wing, and oftentimes students do bring their lunch to those already. So we
Okay.
want to continue that.
All right, thank you.
Two questions. When the middle school lunch is that late in the day, is that not kind of impactful to the? I don't know. It seems if they're eating, the last class is eating at 12:30 and then they're getting out 2 hours later. Is that not?
It's what time is our current lunch for
the
middle?
same.
Right.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's happening that way now. I just wanted to
Oh, it
confirm
is.
this.
So it's the way it is now.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we're excited for when the referendum is in place in 2 years, that we have 2 separate areas for students, where students can eat. So we can shift that to be where, at the same time as the high school, and then add 6th grade on the back end of that.
Okay, so this is just sort of temporary until everything is.
Yeah, and we had these times for middle school lunch this year, and it hasn't been an issue.
Gotcha. Then my second question is, it was like one of the first slides you were showing were the schools that have this new or the model that we're going to, that they're already. How were those districts as far as achievements? Are they comparable? Is this like a better? I know you hope it's a better roadmap to success, but are those the ones that we're emulating? Are they achieving better than us? And
So the schools that fall into the category of 47 minutes or less daily are very on par with our demographic in Kenilworth. Yeah.
The achievement ranges across those schedules.
Yeah.
Okay.
As just one factor out of many.
Sure, I guess what I'm saying is if we're changing it, we're hopefully changing it because other schools are seeing success with that level of
And because we're getting
schedule.
3 weeks of instructional time.
Yeah, no doubt.
It actually is kind of, in a way, backtracking to something that we used to have. We used to have a regular scheduled day
Yeah.
here as well.
Yeah, okay. Just curious.
My experience is that this is a lot better.
Yeah.
From my experience.
I would I mean.
As being a student in high school, having this kind of schedule.
I think
as well as
he and I
a
had the
teacher
same
who has
reaction
this
when the
schedule.
drop and rotate schedule went up there. That was.
You need a map for it.
An engineering degree just to figure it out. But.
Yeah.
Any other board members have questions for Mr. Davies or Ms. Winchell? Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, transitioning to HIB, sorry, I got lost for a second. There are no new cases of HIB at Harding for May, but you'll see in your graphs and your charts that there are 2 cases at Brewerly. One was founded, one was unfounded. When you're voting later in the meeting on Resolution 32, you're voting for the results from April that I shared with you in May. And if you recall, in April, there were no founded cases of HIB. So essentially, you're just voting for the record. And we also see an HIB-related resolution under Resolution 11. Each year, a team of stakeholders across buildings completes an HIB self-assessment. I shared those results with you already in my October 11th, 2022 presentation. But there's a lapse between the presentation and the state's approval of our data. Therefore, our submission was recently approved, and so Resolution 11 acknowledges your receipt of the final approved report, which hasn't changed since I shared that data with you on October 11th of last year. Happy to take any questions on that report, though.
Everybody okay with the HIB, or would you like another few minutes? Nancy, good? You guys good? Okay, thank you, Mr. Arlington.
Busy section 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that concludes my report. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll now have report of committees, review of resolutions, and board discussion. Up first, finance, facilities, and negotiations. Mr. Ganella will present the resolutions.
Yeah, I spoke to Mr. Ladati today, asked me to review these for you this evening. So as investment interest rates have been increasing, we've taken the opportunity to invest some funds in higher interest-bearing accounts. These investments are reflected in resolution number 6 on this evening's agenda. In addition, this summer, we'll be looking to invest some additional funds during the idle summer months in an effort to generate some more interest income for the district. Specifically in resolution number 6, you see the Unemployment Trust Fund as well as the Heyman Scholarship, putting the $125,000 of the scholarship fund in a much higher interest-bearing account. Hopefully next year, instead of giving 3 $1,500 scholarships, we're able to increase that to either more students or a higher dollar amount for next school year. Regarding resolution number 7 on the agenda, this is a report that I submit to Mr. Arlington on an annual basis. It includes an analysis of contracts in accordance with statute, in which we intend to renew, award, or permit to expire contracts previously awarded by the Board of Education. On the resolution regarding the fire department annual carnival. This is a follow-up to our former approval of the use of our facilities that we approved in April for the firemen to use the facilities for their carnival. This memorializes the agreement between the district and the fire department, and hopefully we can use this as a template for the future. If things go well this year and they want to use our facilities again, this will be a very easy transition to just change some dates and move forward, taking into consideration all the, some of the concerns that the board had regarding insurance and indemnity. We rebid the HVAC project and accepted bids on January 2nd. We changed the scope of the work to hopefully come in a little lower. This time, we'll be meeting in closed session this evening to review the award that was planned for June 23rd. In addition, some other progress is being made on the designs of the athletic fields, and the renovations to the middle and high school is progressing nicely. We're getting down to paint colors and floor tiling and things like that. So I plan to have a meeting with the Finance Committee meeting before the end of the school year. This week we're meeting with Fire Chief Scuderi and Police Chief Seuss and some of their team regarding safety and security of the design. And then we have a bunch of policies that we are going to be reviewing tonight. The first one is for first reading, electronic transfer of claimant certification. This is because a local finance notice came out, was issued on the use of electronic funds, or EFTs, for the payment of claims electronically, and it provides the detail for a school district using an EFT technology for payments of claims electronically in lieu of paper checks. That is a first reading. A policy for adoption, a second reading, is contracts for goods and services. An annual audit indicated that the school districts were in need of some revisions to policy 6311. The policy guide indicates that checks are applicable for contracts for purchases over $25,000. This guide has been revised to include these provisions and is mandated. Policy 7440, which is also mandated, is school district security. The code covering this has been revised, and it's basically how law enforcement obtains information from us regarding our facilities, moving from a blueprint paper format to a critical incident mapping data system. Our school has already been through this process, and we're just waiting final movement on that. Regulation 8420-1, fire and fire drills. The policy guide was revised to align with the updated statutes by inserting language provided in statute regarding fire and school security drills. A series of policies, bomb threats, lockdown procedures, and active shooters. Code requires school districts to locally develop crisis plans and procedures. Does not require adoption of a specific plan or a procedure of a crisis for crisis situations. These three regulation guides have been revised to indicate the bomb threat, lockdown, and active shooter procedures will be included in the district's plans, procedures, and mechanism for safety, security, and safety and security in accordance with the provisions of these codes and statutes. And then finally, policy 8600, student transportation, has been revised to address the new subsection of code, which provides boards the option to adopt the provision in a policy that requires a list of students transported by school bus or to a school-sponsored activity, and that is mandated. Those are the policies that are on the agenda for finance and facilities.
Thank you, Mr. Canella. Anyone have questions for Mr. Canella about finance and facilities? No? Okay, thank you, Mr. Canella. Up next, personnel and management, Mr. Haverford.
Thank you. We have 7 resolutions tonight, but again, we'd like to congratulate the retirees, honorees, seniors, and other athletes we recognize tonight. Congratulations to you all. Resolution 21 recognizes the retirement of Brian Luciani. Resolution 22 approves hiring a special education teacher in the middle high school. Resolution 23 is the approval to hire a secretary for Brearley principal. Resolution 24 is the approval to hire buildings and grounds staff. Resolution 25 is approval for change in salary. Resolution 26 is the approval of a maternity leave absence request. And Resolution 27 is the approval of home instruction. There is a policy change. This is a second reading for adoption of P4217, use of corporal punishment. Policy Guide 3217 has been revised to align directly within the governing statute NJSA 18A6-1. Policy Guide 3217 addresses a situation in which it is appropriate for staff members to use force when dealing with a student. Policy Guide 4217 has been developed to address the requirements in NJSA 18A6-1 for for support staff members because the statute requires compliance by any person employed by the board. Any questions?
Yeah, the only question I have is with the wording for the policy name. Is it use of corporal punishment because that's mandated by the state that we use that terminology? Because, I mean, corporal punishment means something altogether different in my mind than a use of force type situation, you know, required force for restraining of a student in a certain situation. So it just puzzles me that that's the wordage.
Yeah, it is required, and it's also pretty broad. Mr. Gagliardi can help me, but an adult who embarrasses a student, for example, purposefully, that falls under corporal punishment, so it's not always what we may think of as corporal punishment.
Yeah, I understand the question, but we're stuck with the phrase.
The word, yeah, no, I just, you know, just when I saw it, when I read it this weekend, I was like, that was such a strange term for the state to be using in a school setting in my mind.
And for transparency, that was resolution 34 of the policy, so for those keeping score.
Thank you, Mr. Haberther. Next up, Mrs. Tiers, Curriculum and Instruction.
We have resolution number 28 today for the approval of coaching and training services. Resolution number 29 for leadership coaching and training services. Resolution number 30 for curriculum adoption for Spanish 2, Spanish 3, and English 2. And resolution 31 is the approval of curriculum writing. And resolution 32 is the HIB report from April. Resolution 33, that's not me, okay. Resolution 35, we have 3 policies. P2520 is instructional supplies, revised to reflect current best practices. These revised guides allow for the superintendent to designate a staff member to develop regulations for the selection and utilization of instructional supplies. Regulation Guide 2520 has been revised to remove the blanks and provide the principal or designee the responsibility for the inventory and distribution of supplies. It will outlined in 2520 can be revised to reflect local practices. And then we have policy P5111, which is the eligibility of resident, non-resident students. So this addresses residency criteria for a student residing outside the district to be allowed to continue attending school in the district.
Thank you, Mrs. Tiers. Anyone have questions for Mrs. Tiers on curriculum instruction? No? Okay, thank you so much. Any old business?
Well, it's sort of old. I'm not quite sure if we covered it. I was sick one meeting and I missed it. But last year when we had the situation that arose with graduation and our standing practice of having former board members be able to give their diplomas to family members, and then it was broadened last year where some staff did the same. But then there were other staff members within the district who weren't asked to, probably just because the person running graduation wasn't even aware that they had someone. And we talked about clarifying that somewhere between then and now, and here we are at graduation again. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we appreciate the question now, because to be honest, I wasn't aware of that longstanding practice either until you had mentioned it.
Last year.
Yeah, so at that point it was too late, right?
Yeah,
But
we had a
Mr. Davies and I
policy.
did discuss that, and so moving forward, now that we're aware of that standing practice, that right will be reserved for board members.
Board members only?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that's the practice, right?
It's what it had been. But like we said last year, it wasn't that there was an opposition to having staff members do it, just that if you were going to, you needed to make sure everybody across the board was aware of
Yeah.
it, you know, in fairness.
Again, out of transparency, we didn't know it was a standing practice, so now that we do, he and I have spoken.
Okay.
And on that point, graduation is now 7:30 this year, not 7 o'clock.
7:30?
7:30.
Thank you, Mr. Under old business, we want to just remind everybody to please look in the Friday folder for opportunities information, and also updates for the referendum projects. Anyone else? Anything under old business? New business?
Yeah, just real quick, I'd like to thank any of the staff members that worked over the weekend for the Fusion Dance Center dance recital. As a dance dad, I can appreciate going to many different school districts and seeing various levels of attention that goes into these things to pull them off. So thank you very much to all the staff that were available for keeping the lights on and keeping everything moving. So.
Thank you. We want to do just a few to piggyback on what Mr. Habither said. We wanted to thank the leadership teams, parents, PTO of Harding for the field day, which was very successful. And we also like to thank the Harding and David Brearley Middle High School PTOs for all the staff and teacher celebrations. They were very nice. Every 15 minutes, we wanted to thank the students, the public safety teams, the building grounds, and all of the public that came out to watch that presentation. We would also like to thank all of the students, the salutatorian and the rec, which we honored them, and the sports teams. We'd like to wish all of our seniors good luck on their future endeavors, and everybody good luck on their final exams. And we'd like to reserve for the 23rd meeting. We'll wish everybody a happy, healthy summer then, but we still have another meeting to go. So thank you for all the efforts. It's been a great school year. So at this time, if anyone else have any new business to add? Okay, so we'll now open the meeting up to the public for comment. Is there a motion to? Second? Okay. Motion made by Mr. David, seconded by Mrs. Tiers. All those in favor of opening the meeting to the public, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, ayes have it, motion carried. Mr. Canella?
Public comment will now be accepted. The Board of Education sets the limit for the public to speak at the board meeting to 5 minutes per person, unless prior permission has been granted by the Board of Education for extended time pursuant to KBOE policy bylaw 0167. For the record, please indicate your name and address prior to making your comments.
Michelle Ryan, Middletown, New Jersey. I wanted the opportunity to introduce ourselves. We're a new KEA executive team, and I've recently become the president of the association, and I just wanted to introduce myself to everybody.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Veronica Gonzalez-Ryan. I'm a Spanish teacher at Harding, here 23 years. I'm the treasurer of the KEA.
Severia Campanelli, 6th grade over at Harding. I've been here for 23 years as well, so I'm the new vice president.
And my name's Phil Giordano, 15 years here at David Brearley at Science, and I'm the new union secretary. Nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks for the formal
Yeah.
introduction.
I actually have one more thing to say. I want to make a comment based on the last board meeting that Mrs. Zimmerman brought up about the TAB committee. So I was the one teacher who was on the TAB committee in its first inception, and it was great. And I was also the teacher on it again this time. And we started off, we had a meeting, and hopefully we can continue that. But I do want to know that there are many teachers who would love the opportunity to talk with the board and to express all the successes we're having in our classrooms, and to thank you for all the programs you're bringing us so that we could share with you what's going on at Harding. So just be aware we are interested in speaking with the board, and we welcome that opportunity. So let's hope we can get that back, because we do see the value in the TAB committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Nicole Rodriguez, 45 North 11th Street. I'd like to kind of finish what I was saying last month. I didn't have enough time to speak. I want to know how the district implements progressive discipline. How are the different punishments determined? Last month I spoke before you and I was not able to fully explain myself. My son's pants and underwear were pulled down in the bathroom in April of this year by another student. My son was humiliated, and to make matters worse, 3 other students attempted to record the incident and post it on Snapchat. I was surprised to learn that the student who did this to my son only received in-school suspension. My son did not feel supported or safe at Brierley. He also felt it unfair that last year he was suspended out of school for several days for saying a comment to another student in the lunch line. As you may recall, he also received an HIB for that, which I spoke in front of you about last year. The bullying even continued after the incident, with other students then commenting on my son's private parts after this happened. I reached out several times to Mr. Arlington and Mr. Davies regarding this. After several weeks of waiting, I received an email to a link on the district's website about HIB. This was not what I was inquiring about. I want to know how the district determines the punishment given to a student for an infraction. There is a huge difference between saying a one-word comment to a student and pulling a student's pants and underwear down, humiliating that student, causing emotional distress and harm. Just recently, Ms. Kukolo met with my son and the student who has continued to bully him since this incident. The bullying never stopped. I did file an HIB, by the way, and had the student sign a stay-away plan. Why wasn't this done sooner? With 10 days left in the school year, most half days, how does this benefit my son now? I have many unanswered questions about how this was handled. I did not appreciate being told by an administrator that the student's intent was only to pull my son's pants down and not his underwear, as if that's okay. My mouth dropped when I heard this and I was speechless. I'm kindly asking for answers, and it would ease my mind and heart if I hear answers that make sense. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else comments? Okay.
Motion to close the public portion.
Do we have a second? Okay, motion made by Mr. David, seconded by Mrs. Tiers. All those in favor of closing the meeting to the public, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it, motion's carried. The meeting is now closed to the public for comment. Mr. Ganala, are we prepared to vote on resolutions?
Yes, we are. We have 35 resolutions on this evening's agenda. Do any of those resolutions need to be voted on separately? No? Okay. And this is for resolutions 1 through 35 on the agenda. Biner.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Ferrara.
Yes.
Haberther.
Yes.
Tiers.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Panici.
Yes.
Motion's carry unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ganala, do we have a need to go into closed executive session?
Yes, we do.
Motion to go into closed session.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. David, seconded by Mrs. Tiers. Mr. Ganala, do you want to?
Yes.
Thank you.
Be it resolved by the Board of Education, the Board of Education meet in private session from which the public shall be excluded to discuss the topics of personnel, attorney-client privilege, and student matters, which private discussion is being held pursuant to Section 7B and 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act. The matters under discussion will be disclosed to the public as soon as final decisions are made and voted upon. Okay, I'll do roll call on that. Biner.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Ferrara.
Yes.
Haberther.
Yes.
Tiers.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Panici.
Yes.
Okay, we are now in closed session.